All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Chandan, and I welcome you all to my channel once again. This is eighth video in TestNG tutorial series, and we are going to see what is @parameters annotation provided by TestNG. All right. So let's quickly start. Okay. The agenda for today is first we are going to see what is parameterization. All right. And right after that, we are going to see different ways to parameterize a test. Okay, and then we are going to see the first way, that is parameterization using TestNG.xml file. All right, so let me just start my Eclipse IDE to explain what is parameterization. Okay, but before let me just close all of this. And okay, so this is the project that I'm going to use for this video. Okay, this is a basic Java project. Okay, and all I have done is added TestNG TestNG library to this project, and this is a source folder within which I have one package, parameters, and I'm going to use all this class to explain whatever we are going to learn today. Okay, so the first one is parameterization. If you see, we have basic two uh, you know two methods, addition and subtraction, and they both are parameterized method. Parameterized method means a method which accepts parameters, right? So it is accepting, they both are accepting two integer values, a and b, okay? And the addition one is returning you the sum of a and b, and subtraction is returning you the subtraction of a and b. All right, and if you see here, we have a test method, okay, test01 with @test annotation, okay, which makes it test method. And if you see here, we have few sysout statements, okay, within which we are performing addition. Okay, we are calling this addition method with these values, these data set 10, 5, 50, 15, 33, 15. Okay, so if we run this, we are going to get addition of all these values, right? This data set. All right, so if you see here, we are calling addition method with these three different data set, right? You can add more data set to call the same method. So we are testing a method with different data set. This is called parameterization. All right, so calling a method with different data set is called parameterization, and in testing world, we call it testing the method with different data set is called parameterization. All right, so I hope that's clear. Okay, tomorrow if you want to if you want to test subtraction with these values again, then all you have to do is just add this is out statement and call this method. Okay, so this is all about what is parameterization. But now, okay, now let's go to the second part, that is called different. That is, I'm sorry, that is different ways to parameterize a test. Right now, there are two ways to parameterize a test using TestNG. TestNG provides two ways. The first one is you can use TestNG XML file for the same, and the second one is we have a method called we have something called data provider. Okay, I'll explain you that in a bit. So now coming back to this particular method, addition and subtraction. If you see here, if I want to perform subtraction, okay, subtraction using the same set of data, 10, 5, 50, 15, 33, 15, okay. So let me just do that here. Let me call subtraction with same set of data, 10, 5, all right, and here I'm calling subtraction. Okay, and subtraction. Cool. Okay, and let me just print it here again. Okay, and I'm going to change the data 50, 15, and 33 and 15. Okay, we are good. Okay, so we are performing. We are parameterizing, performing parameterization on addition as well as subtraction. But if we observe, we are using same set of data, right? Same set of data, 10, 5, 50, 15, 33, 15, 10, 5, 50, 15, 33, 15. Okay, so this is going to give me the result that I want, but is it a good practice? You will find two problems here. The first problem is you're repeating the same set of data. Okay, you're calling different methods but with same set of data, so that you're repeating. That's why you're repeating the data, right? Wouldn't it be better if we keep this data in a separate file and call call the data for the method that we are testing? So for example, I kept 10.5 somewhere and I'm calling 10.5 for addition, and right after addition I'm calling 10.5 for subtraction as well, right? So in that case, I'm not repeating. I'm not repeating. What I'm doing is I'm keeping the data at one place, that is one, okay, just in one place, and then calling them one after the other, right? So the repetition is not there. The other problem that I wanted to talk about is we are keeping the test data within the test method, right? Within the class where we have the test method, we are keeping the hard-coded values here, which is not a good practice. Okay, if you have seen an automation framework, you will never find hard-coded values in your framework. If you have found it, it is not a good automation framework. They haven't followed the coding practices, the best coding practices. All right. It is always recommended to keep the test data out of the class somewhere in the external file. Okay, and that external file could be properties file, config file, or TestNG XML file, or you can read the data from Excel, or you can read the data directly from the database as well. All right, but you should never keep the test data within the class that you are testing in. Okay, so we got two problems. We are repeating data, okay, and the second one is we are keeping the data within the test class. So we are going to see how we can get rid of both of them, how we are going to solve this problem. All right. All right. So in order to keep our data out of our file, I mean your project files, that is the class files, we can leverage testng XML file. Okay, I will come to that in a minute, but uh, as we discussed that there are different ways to parameterize a test. So the first one is, as I told you, that we can use testing xml file for that, and the second one is something called data provider, which is not the scope of this video, but I'll just give you a glimpse of how it looks like, and we are going to see that in detail in the next video. Okay, so let me just paste it here. Okay, so if you see here, uh, we have a test method, okay, and this is another method, okay, and if you see here we have at the rate data provider annotation on top of it, okay, and the name is data provider, and this is the name of the method, okay, and what it is returning is it's returning a 2D array object, okay, return new, and this is the values that we are passing from this method. So in short, this method is a data provider which returns the data to a method in test. Okay, so this is a test method. Okay, it is calling this data provider. See, data provider is the name. It is calling this data provider, and that the data that we have here within this method would be used to test within this method. Okay, now this method is using this value val, right? So val is here and we are passing this value, okay, to this. So if this doesn't, it is not making sense for you as of now, just ignore it as of now, but I just wanted to tell you that there are different ways to do it. Okay, so I'm not going more into more detail into data provider, but if you just wanted to know what is data provider, it is just a method which returns some data for to a method to test with with those data that we are passing from data provider. Okay, so this method is using the data that this method is returning. Okay, so this is all about data provider. Now let's come back to the first way, that is how we can pass data to a method from testing xml file. Okay, in order to explain you that, I will not use this class, but we are going to see something different, which is going to uh, which will be helpful to for you to understand actually. Okay, so let me open this TestNG Param Java, the first class that I have. Okay, all you see is we have three test method. All these methods have at the rate test annotation, which makes them test methods. So the first one is, if you see, the name of the method is search for product, and then we have add to wish list, and then we have add to cart. All right. So these terms, I believe, are familiar to you. Okay. This is what we generally do in our on an e-commerce site. We search for a product, and then if we like the product, we add it to wish list. And when we make our mind to buy it, we put it to add to cart, and we make the payment get delivered, right? Okay, so let's see what we have in this. Okay, yeah. All right, the first method that we see here, search for product. Before I do that, let me just quickly tell you one more thing, that this method, it is accepting three parameters, right? String, URL, string type, username and password. URL, username, password. Similarly, add to wishlist is accepting URL, username, password and product. And add to cart is accepting URL, username, password, right? All three of them, they are accepting URL, username and password, but this add to wish list is accepting a product additionally. Okay, one extra parameter. Now let's see the detail of what we have in this method. If you see, it's a general steps that we generally follow. Okay, I have not used Selenium script here. Okay, just to keep things simple. Okay, so what we are going to do is, in order to search a product, what we generally do is we open a browser and then we launch the URL, and then we sign in with a username and password. We search for a phone. Okay, for this demo purpose, I'm just using iPhone. Okay, maybe let's get back to this. Okay, and right after searching iPhone, we are going to sign out, and then we close browser, and you can ignore this. Okay, I wanted to keep the output separate from each other. That's why I used that line there. Okay, similarly for add to wish list, we are performing the same action: open browser, launch, sign in, and then search for the product that we will give, and then we are going to we are going to put it to wish list, right? We are going to click on add to wish list. That will add the product to my wish list, and then I'm signing out, and then close the browser, then again the line. Similarly for this method, open browser, launch URL, username, password, go to wish list. Now this time we have made our mind to buy that product, buy that phone. So we are going to wish list, and then we are adding iPhone to cart, and then you sign out and close browser. Okay, so three simple steps, three simple actions that we are performing, and they all have @test methods, right? Okay, now if you see that these methods are parameter, they are parameterized method. That means they accept parameters. But how are we going to pass those values using TestNG, right? They are all test methods. Where are the data? Where is the data? So I told you that there are two ways. First is you can use TestNG XML file. The other way is data provider, which is out of scope of this video. So let me just create since we are testing this class, let's create the XML file for this. So TestNG XML, convert to TestNG XML file, convert to TestNG, and then here let me just name it as TestNG Parameters. Okay, so instead of TestNG, since we already have it, so let me just make something else. All right, TestNG Parameters. Okay, or right, fine, let's keep that. Hit finish. Okay, that will create a XML file for us. And if you see, we have just the basic TestNG XML file with us. Sweet name, you can ignore this thread count for now. Okay, we don't need it. And within classes, we have just one class as of now, right? TestNG params. Okay, now the requirement is we need these data to be passed from TestNG XML file. So how to do that? What you have to do is you have to just below test, you have to use this keyword parameters. You have to add this tag there, parameters. All right, I'm sorry, yeah, parameter, and then key value pair, that will be name is equals to what are the parameters that we need URL, username and password. We are going to add all of them together. Okay, so URL, this is the first one, and then sorry, they need to be coded. Okay, and then name equals to what is the value that you want to pass. So we want to open amazon.com, right? So let's use amazon.com. Let's make it secure. All right, I'm not going to launch that, but still it's a good practice to secure it. And then we are going to end the parameter tag. I'm sorry, it has to be value. Okay, so this is the format that you have to use to add a value in TestNG parameter, add a parameter in TestNG value, TestNG XML suite, in order to be able to use them in the methods. Okay, so if you remember, we have product as well. So we are going to add URL, username, password, and product, all the four here. Okay, so let me just copy this, paste, 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 and let me just rename it quickly. So it is user name. Okay, and we can keep username as test account 01 and password as test at 123. All right, and the fourth one is product, which would be iPhone X. All right, I hope that's the latest one. I'm not an iPhone guy, but yeah, this is what is being talked about, so I'm using that. All right, so we are done with all the data that we need. Okay, so URL, username, password, product. So in order to test these three methods, the data that we need have been created. Okay, and we have put it in TestNG XML file. So we are all good in here, right? This is how you add data to TestNG XML suite. Okay, now if you see, can I run this file directly? Can I run this test directly, and would it execute my test? Would it take all the values that we have in here? It will not. The reason is we haven't created a link between testng file and this test method. There needs to be some link. There need to be some link. Okay, so that is where we use parameters annotation. This will tell my test that, hey, you need these values, you need to read it from testng XML file. Okay, so this is what parameters is all about. So, and the format to add is, and the syntax to add parameters is, you write @parameters and open bracket. Within this bracket you open curly braces. Okay, and you write all the values that you need. Okay, and the values would be this name. Okay, not the values, actually the system will read, TestNG will read the value automatically with this name. Okay, so let's put URL, since this method needs URL, and they are mapped one to one. Okay, so the first one will be mapped to the first one, second one to second, third to third. So the second one would be username. Let's go with username, put it here, and the third one is password. Okay, password. We are done. We don't need the fourth one. Okay, the fourth one is not needed in the first method. Okay, and if you see here, we are getting some error, which is because we haven't imported. We are going to import parameters of TestNG. So select that, and you can see the error is gone. All right, cool. We are done with setting the data for first method. Similarly, let's set data for the second one. So if you see, we have everything common. We have used URL, username, and password for this method as well. So I'm just going to put it here. And if you see the final one is the product, and the name for the iPhone, the name is product, right? So the parameter name is product. So paste it here. We are done with the second one as well. And the third one, if you see, it is same as the first one, that is URL, username, and password. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. Okay, so now if you see the connection, the data has been created successfully, and the connection has been made using @parameter annotation. And this is the job of @parameter annotation. It creates a link between the data that you have provided in TestNG XML file and the test method. All right, so let's quickly run this and see if we are good with it or not. Okay, so let right click, run as TestNG suite. I hope we don't get any error. Let's see. And boom, you can see all of them has, if you see, test run is 3, pass 3, no failure. And this is the reason why I use that extra line, okay? So that I know that where is the first test ended. So if you see open browser launch this site, this value was read from, not from the test, okay? I did not provide URL anywhere, but this value was taken from my XML suite. Okay, so here it is. XML. Now sign in as username. This is the username that I passed from my XML. Okay, let me just shrink it, move it. All right, so the username test account 1, password is test at the rate 123. Okay, and search for iPhone, though iPhone was hard coded in this one, but it must have been read for in the second one. In the second one, if you see, we are reading product from the parameter that we passed, right? Oh, not this one. Yeah, you can see product is here. So it is reading product from my XML suite. This value is being read, right? So same, you launch URL, username and password is same, and then go to wish list, add iPhone to X. I'm sorry, here. Sorry, iPhone. Okay, add to wish list, sign out, and close browser. Similarly, for the third method, that is add to cart, what it is doing is it is launching URL and then putting in username and password and go to wish list. I added iPhone to the cart, sign out, and close browser, right? So you can see that we were able to pull data successfully from XML file, TestNG XML file, right, for this particular class. Now the second thing I wanted to, okay, right, okay, after this, we are going to see something. If you see here, we have lot many repetition of lines of code, right? If you see here, open browser, launch, and at least these 3 lines of code, right? Or action, you would say, step, open browser, launch, and sign in. These are repeated. Also, the sign out and close browser are repeated. Sign out, close browser, sign out, close browser. Sign in, launch, open browser, sign in and launch. Now, if you follow good practices, coding practices, you will never write your code in this way, right? What you will do is you will make a method and you will keep the repeating lines of code in that method, and you will call that method here, right? So, but for TestNG, we have even better option, right? We have, if we want something to be called for each test, right, we have at the rate before method, right, which is called for every test method, and similarly we have after method, which is called for every test, right? So let's refactor this code, okay, and then you will understand why I'm doing that. Okay, so let's quickly refactor it. Before method, okay, that's the annotation, okay, and let me just copy this once, maybe all of it, and we set up, because since this is a before method, so anything in under before annotation are generally setup actions. And what are the repetition ones we are? Okay. So before, in under before method, what we are doing is we have a method which is performing open browser, we are launching the URL, and we are signing in that user and password, because these three are being repeated in each of the method. Okay, so let's refactor it. I am removing this lines, these steps from the second one, and similarly from the third one. All right, all good. So far, no errors, we are fine. And what else do you see here? You can see the parameters are also been repeated, right? Parameter is also repeated. So we have the parameter also added for this test, right? For this before method. By the way, we can use added parameters with all the annotations that we have. The before one, the after ones, and with the added. Also, we can use it with added factory, which I will you will learn later, but not in this. Okay, so almost all the pre and post annotations that we have before and after, we can use parameters with them. So that's the reason why it is not giving me error when I'm adding it with before method. Okay, so we can get rid of this as well because we have the parameters added for before method. So nothing on test method, we can remove this as well. Okay, cool. Now again, as we have this sign out and close browser as well, and this line as well repeated. So let's create, and they are done after in the end, right? So let's go with after method. Let's add one more method, public void, we call it tear down generally. So let's create a method, and the statement that goes in this is sign out close browser in this. All right, so copy that, paste it here, and we don't need parameters in this, so all I have to do is add after method. All good. Let me just import the right statement for this. Done. Okay, now since we have sign out close and this line in all the methods, so we can close this. Okay, we can remove that, we can remove that as well, and we can remove from this method as well. Cool. All good. Yeah, so you can see that our code looks good now. Okay, not this one, remove this as well. Okay, sorry. Nice. Now if you remember, for this method we have an extra parameter, right? So you need to pass, since we are not passing it in before method, we need to pass that here. So let me just copy this, paste, sorry, paste it here, and remove everything from here and copy product. Okay, now if you see this product name, this should match with the value that we have here. Okay, all the parameters name should match with the name that we have provided in this thing, our parameters, I'm sorry, in class and the XML file. Done. Now just to check, let's see if everything is fine after we have made so much of changes, because generally after refactoring the code we should check if everything is working fine. So let's do that. Oh, we got an error. Let me just quickly check what the error is. Injection, just a minute. All right, I found the error. It is a very small mistake. If you see here, now this particular method, it doesn't need URL and username, right? Not even password. So we have to get rid of them. This one, let's remove these from here. It will need only pub product, okay? And even from this, because these parameters are required by before method test, nowhere else, right? All right. All right, so let's run this. We are done with all the changes. TestNG suite, and yeah, okay. Now it has run successfully, and if you see, it has executed the same, it has printed the same lines, sysout statement that we saw earlier. Okay, so 3 run, 3 pass. All good. Okay, we have refactored our code, and our code looks good now. Okay, now if you see here, we are using now all these test methods, right? They are using the same set of data, and that we are passing from here. So test method 1, that is the search for product, it is using with the help of before method, yeah. So, and when we did not have this line of this method, then they all had username, password, and username, password, and the URL, right? And they all were sharing the same data that is being passed from the TestNG suite, right? Okay. Now I want to tell you another point, which is these parameters, they can be passed on test level as well as suite level. Okay, so let me do this. Say for example, within this test itself, within this XML itself, I will keep parameter, I mean the URL parameter on suite level. Okay, I've kept it on suite level, and within this test level, we are going to have username, password, and product. Okay, so let's see what happens. Let's right click on it, run as TestNG. Okay, it's still the same, all passed, same statement, same output. Okay, so we can keep, so that means we can keep parameters on suite level as well as test level, but make sure that the you are keeping the data correctly. Okay, say for example, we have another test within this suite. Okay, and say for example, okay, let me just create another copy of this, copy paste, I'm sorry, copy this and let me paste it. Oops, sorry, right click, paste. The modifier source must be saved. Okay, just a minute, let me save this. Okay, all done, copy, paste it. Let me keep it as 02. Okay, and this has created another, I mean this is just an exact replica of this class. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the same I'm going to use the same XML file, but within this test we have two level of test now. Within this test I'm executing the same I'm executing the test that we have in the new class, that is 02. Okay, same, but I want to execute uh, this these methods in the new class with different set of data. Okay, so with different set of data, but I want to make sure that the URL is same. They both are they are both are being executed with the same URL, that is https www.amazon.com. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll run them and I'll just tell you, let me just make it correct, I mean corrected. This is the class. Okay, class, first class, this one, and this is the second class. They both are going to use this particular this data. Okay, test2 will use this data for its execution, and let me just make it one and test2, because they are different tests, so the name has to be different, names have to be different, and when we run them, they will execute both the test. Let me run this. Okay, just save it. Let's see what happens. All right, so if you see here, within this suite we have two tests, and each of the tests have executed three tests, 1 2 3. Each of the class have executed 1 2 3, right? 1 2 3 and 1 2 3. Okay, all good. And if you see in the console, you can see that all the tests have launched the same site. That's because the site was on the level of URL, and this parameter is shared between this test. Okay, anything within test will be able to access the parameter that we have on suite level. Okay, so this is on suite level and these parameters are on test level. Okay, so okay, now say for example, if you want to run the second class, the TestNG Param2, with different set of data. Say for example, you want to change the user. One was I mean you want, this is for admin and another is for normal corporate user or anything like. Okay, so the username is test account 01, this username is user test account 02. Okay, so when we run them, it will, they will be executed successfully, but this time the first test, the first three tests that is within this class will be executed with this username, and the second class test will use this execution, I mean this username for their execution. So this is how you can provide different data and test your test cases. All right, okay, just a minute. All right, coming on to the next one. Let me just remove this for simplicity. Okay, I have explained you what I wanted to explain. Okay, so let's keep one test. Now, you would think that what if I have username, password, product. Okay, I have username and password available on suite level as well. Okay, we do that. Control A, Control I. All right. What if I have parameter username and password on test level as well as on suite level? Okay, so what will happen? So if you execute this, let me just make it count test here. Okay, and let me make it account suite here, so that you know that which data is being pulled. So if I run this, okay, let me just show you. Let me just run as TestNG suite. Okay, so 3 tests will be executed, but if you see, the data that it has used is test account test and password, test account test, and test account test. It did not pick the data from the suite level username password. The username is test account suite, and for test level we have test account test, right? So that means if we have parameters, common parameters, I mean, the parameters are same, that means the name is same. Okay, the names are same in both suite level and test level. In that case, the priority will be given to the test, the preference will be given to test. Okay, always remember that this is one of the edge cases that I mean, these are the things that, I mean, these things we generally don't use, but this is a part of, I read it in TestNG documentation, so I wanted to cover it here. All right, so let me just get rid of that. Okay, let me keep the URL on root level. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to mention here is, right, and this one is very interesting. Okay, say for example, let's come back to TestNG Param02 class. I mean, the second class that we created. Now, okay, and one more thing, let me just add test again, because we'll need 2 different set of test. Let me make it 2, test 1 and param02. So we are set. Okay, now say for example, we are passing username and password, but for this particular test, that is for second class, okay, we don't have this product passed. All right, we have product available. I mean, we have the parameter product available for this test, I mean this class or this test, but the class, that the second class that is present under this test tag doesn't have product, right? In that case, there is another way. I mean, if you run this, this will give us an error because the second class is expecting product. The second class is expecting product, right? But we are not providing product from XML file, right? So it will throw me an error, right? So what is the other way to handle this? So TestNG provides another parameter here within this method. Remember this, within the method where you need the value, you have to add, just a minute, optional parameter there. Just a minute, sorry. So here you have to write optional, okay, and then open, okay, and give the value here. Say for example, instead of iPhone X, you want to search for Google Pixel, okay, and you have to import the optional. Okay, now we are sorted. Now if you see, this is the second class, and for second class we are not providing parameter from this test tag, but for the first class we are providing that product, like the way we did for the rest of the classes, I mean rest of the test earlier. Okay, now if we run this, we will not have problem, right? But I mean, in case you miss to give the parameter, in that case this acts as a default value for that parameter, that is product, right? For this product it will act as a default value. for optional. In case it doesn't get the value, then it will use this value. Okay, so let's run this and see if it is running fine. Okay, it ran well. And let's check the data that is pulled. So if you see, we have two classes, both have both of them have three tests. So in all it will be 6. So let's see the first one, that is the second one, the first suite, test suite. We have iPhone X read from the first test suite, and the second one where we did not pass the product, it is pulling Google Pixel, right? So that's sorted. So in case you forget to, in case you did not pass any parameter and you want to set some default value for that particular method, then you can do is, what you can do is you can go to that method, and within its parameter you have to add the read optional, and you have to give the value that you are expecting for this particular uh, parameter. Okay, so product will read from Google Pixel in case you did not provide the parameter for that particular test. All right. So, and I have covered almost everything, I guess. The optional suite, I mean, the level, suite level, test level, the, who gets, who is preferred over who, right? So, and yeah, and yes, the most important thing, when do we use when do we use TestNG XML for our data, right? This is not the right way actually of doing it. Okay, if we have, say for example, we have hundreds of methods here, or say for example 10 methods, right, within a test class, and 10 methods, they all are accepting some parameters, right? They all need some parameters, generally they all do, right? In that case, you will end up, and you, if you want to, if you want to parameterize them, if you want to test them with different set of data, then you will end up having lot many parameters lines here, right? The tags here, which is not a good practice, right? So that's why TestNG is not preferred for test data, right? All this data that you have, product and everything else, they are not, I mean, TestNG suite XML file is not preferred for that purpose. What you can use TestNG XML file is the data that you need globally, right? There must be some data which you need across all the test, like environment, which environment you are going to test, whether a QA environment, or staging, or sandbox, or production. Those data that you are going to use across the test, like yeah, like environment variables, the global variables, that you can put them on the suite level or test level. That is up to you how you want to configure, right? So if you see that I haven't taken much data for the demo, you can use, we use generally username and password are used for signing, you can use them here, right? But this product, this is not recommended, right? Because this is test specific, so test specific data does not go in testng xml file. Okay, so let me just get rid of that. Okay, and the url, which is common for all the test, you can keep the url here. Okay, so username, url, system environment, I mean the environment variables that you have for your test execution, all those things that you use globally across different tests, those data can be put in testng xml file. Okay, rest of the data, the test data for parameterization, for repeating, for calling the same method again and again with different set of data, this is not the right candidate for that purpose. Okay, for that we can use data provider, or you can use excel database. Okay, so I hope I have covered everything. Let me just go back to the slide once. Okay, now if you see here, parameters annotation, just wanted to check if I've covered everything. Used to pass values to methods, we have already seen that, right? From test xml suite, we are passing value to the methods. Preferred for global parameters, one I just talked. Okay, can be defined under suite and test. We saw that we can, I put url on suite level and username and password on test level, right? So this is what it says. And for some parameters under suite and text, for same parameter, I'm so sorry, for same parameters under suite and test is given preference. We saw that as well, right? Okay, and in the absence of parameters, optional parameter, if define is passed, right? We saw that as well. So in case we missed to pass some parameters, then and if you have provided optional parameter, then that particular parameter is used within that method. So I've covered all of this. I hope I have explained you everything. In case you have any doubt, just put it in the comment box. I'll be more than happy to answer you. I'm sorry it took longer than expected. I was expecting it for 30 minutes, but it has showed to 45 minutes. But I hope that you will get something from the video. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, and mention something in the comment, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. All right, see you in the next video. In the next video we are going to see data provider. All right, thank you very much. Have a good time.